Sorry, I'm a couple seconds late here.
No, it's okay.
I was getting some water and we changed out our water filter on this refrigerator. And
Yeah.
so this was the first cup of water that I got and it exploded on me as the filter was. So I'm in
Uh,
the middle. But I also wanted to show you, and anybody watching, do you recognize this little mug
oh, from Grandma Hall or Mops and Pops.
from Mops and Pops? So this was their dinnerware. They loved this like Native American style. So as I was like, I need water before we start, I found this little mug. I was like, oh, Holly would appreciate that, and so
I
there you
didn't
go.
realize that you got their dinnerware. That's really cool.
Well, thanks. I was gonna be like, moving on. No, it's,
Yeah.
like I
No,
want
I
some of
don't mean
that.
that I want it. I'm just saying I think that's awesome that you got it.
Yeah. Well, I think I said I think it's cool sometime in some mops when they were cleaning out. I was like, here you go. You get these now.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Well,
Okay.
I also had a
Oh,
weird way to start this that I wanted to like actually, and this is the first time I've done this.
okay.
I wanted to reference our time yesterday, our conversation yesterday. It hit me
Yes.
a story that I wanted to tell about unreasonable. The topic yesterday was unreasonable, and if you didn't listen, please go back. It was our first like official guest with Nick Runyon, and it was so fun to just get together with him. But we were talking about unreasonable service, unreasonable hospitality, and it hit me an example I use that I want to share with our audience is the Macy's Santa Claus from Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, you
And
love that movie.
I do. I love that movie. But like, this is such the perfect example of being unreasonable. So if you haven't seen it in a while, and it's, when we're recording this, it's July. So there's a good chance that you haven't thought about this movie in a while and won't for a little while. But I wanted to point out there's a scene in Miracle on 34th Street where Santa Claus is the kids are all sitting on his lap and asking for gifts, and this one little boy says, I really want this like red fire truck. I think it was that actually shoots real water. And, the manager's standing by and he's like watching the Santa Claus interact with these children. And Santa Claus says, you bet, you'll get that or whatever. And, and the mom comes over and she's like, okay, let's move along, and tells the Santa Claus, listen, I know your store doesn't carry this. So like, why would you promise this to my child? I can't get this from your store. And he goes, well, so it's Macy's, right? So he's like, well, I know that Gimbals sells this product. So go there and you'll be able to get this gift for your son. And the manager's like, oh my gosh, I can't. And the mom is shocked. And she's like, thank you so much. And the manager comes over real quickly. And he's like, you can't work here. If you're going to be sending people to other companies, like you can't send them to the competition. Well, the mom later on, so he fires Santa Claus. Mom later
Mm.
on, I'm belaboring this point, but I think it's so important. The mom later on comes to the manager, finds him, particular, particularly to say, your Santa Claus is incredible. You didn't have the product I needed to make my son like happy and to get him what he wanted or whatever. That he sent me to your competition. You have a customer for life at
Yeah.
Macy's. And it's like, that's unreasonable. And I think the perfect example of just serve the customer, meet them in their felt need, and you will find a customer for life. So I don't know.
I love it. What made you think of that? Like,
I don't know. I just hit me as it's actually like maybe 10 minutes ago that, like, yeah, I don't know why I thought of Santa Claus, but when I think of unreasonable, typically I do. I'm like, this is a Macy Santa Claus moment where it matters more that we serve the customer than it does that we make that sale exactly how we thought it would go. And it's fiction or whatever, but I think the principle is just really beautiful, and more than that, really practical, that if you serve them, they will return to be served again, and then maybe that's your product. They will see you as that expert, that provider of service. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Macy's Santa Claus.
I will watch that movie this year with a different perspective. Yeah, I haven't seen that in ages. I think I usually fall asleep in that one, which is like most movies for
It
me,
is a
but
good. It's a good comfort one too, and I would recommend go old school. Go to the black and white version, whatever that one is. It's so sweet. I know they're all probably good and sweet, but that's the one I'm
Mm,
referencing.
yeah. Okay, you want me to read today's?
Let's do it. It's short. Let's go.
It is. Okay, in theory, anything that works in practice can work in theory. When a theory tells us something that is working is impossible, we've either measured wrong or the theory needs updating. Theories exist to explain, predict, and understand. They are supposed to help us see and improve the world around us, and they're never finished, just ever better explanations seeking to catch up with reality. If a theory is effective, use it. When it's not, don't blame reality.
Hmm.
That's so good. I think I don't know that I'm a very good theoretical person. That's why I fall asleep in movies a lot. My husband says I have trouble suspending reality.
Mm.
Um, so I'm the person where when people talk in theory a lot, I'm like, what are you saying? Like I get very frustrated or like confused when I talk to people who are like up in the clouds all the time
Okay.
because I'm like, what? So anyway, yeah, maybe like a hypothesis or a theory is good to have, but I like that Seth is kind of challenging, but if it's not working, then throw it out and move on. Try something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. So theory versus truth. Um, hmm.
Well, or like reality, maybe. Like if a theory is effective, use it. When it's not, don't blame reality. Hmm.
Yeah. Do you have a? I'm trying to think for myself. Do you have like an example where the theory broke down and it was like, yeah, we need to abandon it, and either that was successful in abandoning theory, or um, yeah.
Hmm. Um, well, in my experience working for a software company, I think the theory that is easy to fall into, and this is probably true for any company, but especially with software, is if you add more, then people will buy because like there's more option. This kind of goes back to the menu conversation we had a few days ago. So that's the theory, but it didn't necessarily impact or like it didn't necessarily help. It caused some like the theory could be that it caused more confusion um, rather than doubling down on a simple thing. And you like, I'm thinking about there's a restaurant here in Texas. I don't think you guys have it in Tennessee, but it's called Raising Cane's. It's really
Oh, we do
popular.
now,
Do
actually.
you?
And
Okay.
the line
Well,
is out onto the street. It's crazy.
okay. Well, this is a great example. So take like a Raising Cane's compared to like a Jack in the Box. So Raising Cane's only sells chicken fingers and French fries.
Right.
Period. Now they have like different options as far as how many chicken tenders you get. And like if you want, toast versus coleslaw or whatever. When I think they only have like a couple of sides. They might not even have coleslaw. Anyway, the point is it's literally French fries and chicken tenders. And then and they're fast growing. I don't know the exact stats, but like, I mean, wildly successful, exploding across the South. And then you have like a Jack in the Box or even like a McDonald's or a Burger King or where you've got like tons of stuff on the menu because it's like, oh, well, we need to have all of these options. So I feel like we're going back to the menu conversation, but that's just what came to mind with me in my own experience where it was like, oh, we're trying to sell this thing. People are telling us that if only we had X, Y, and Z additional features, they would buy. Well, then you build it and it actually doesn't that's not what really would drive it. And so
Hmm.
that's an example I can think of where the theory didn't match up with reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
you're
that was
also.
like 15 stories in one.
No, it's great, and obviously, like we're hungry because we come back to food analogies a lot, but it works. Yeah, and maybe this is maybe a slightly different angle on it, but I also like wrestle with, the genius visionary that has a theory as to providing something that people didn't know to ask for, versus going to the market trying to find product market fit based on feedback of like where most people would just say, yeah, that sounds great. I want that. Or they describe to you what they already have because they
Yes.
aren't that visionary thinker. And yeah, the tension of trying to play it safe and provide people what they say they want versus creating vision and building towards a theory that, well, of course no one would ask for a phone. uh well, how did Steve Jobs do it? I was going to try to do it without, I should know this, but when he announced the iPhone, he was like, it's a phone, it's a
Oh,
computer, it's a, iPod, phone,
or
computer.
yeah, yeah.
Like, would anyone else have said, you know what I'd love is for my iPod, I could make phone calls on it and like watch videos and browse the internet.
Hmm.
But like no one knew to ask for that. They would want more songs, or they would want, uh, well, probably just more songs, or maybe a different interface for listening to stuff. But it was when you gave people something they didn't ask that it changed the world with the invention of the iPhone. Um,
There's that quote from Henry Ford that's like, if people wanted a car, they would have, or wait, if they wanted a car, they would have asked for a faster horse. Or if you asked the customer what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. I think that's what it is, something like
that's
that.
what it
It's more
is.
concise than that, but the point, like going on what you're saying, like if you ask the customer, they would just say, "Oh yeah, just make me a faster horse." But instead, he created the car that revolutionized literally the entire world. I know it's such a tension. I don't know. I mean, and I think yeah, I am a big fan of like going to the customer, but it's not just executing on exactly what the customer's asking for. It's okay, they're asking for a faster horse, but really what they mean is they want to get to their destination more quicker, right? So then what would do that? Oh, this thing called a car, or so it's such a tension.
Yeah, and it makes me think that like in our organizations, whether for profit or nonprofit, just the we talked about culture a little bit yesterday, but like imagine imagine a future where we were given more grace, uh, to explore and to experiment more, knowing full well that a number of these are going to fail, and that that's okay. And design thinking, IDEO promoted design thinking thing, and it got a lot of traction in the workplace. I know in the last few years, people have been questioning whether like it's actually paid off or just kind of not paid off. But part of that is like, yeah, we're gonna get something out, fail, iterate, so it should be expected to fail. But like in reality, how much grace do organizations give to a culture of projects and even relationships being treated as experiments instead of like pass fail, or
Mhm.
a test of correctness. So
Yep.
another thought.
Well, and that's so true in marketing. And that's why I've often faced burnout in marketing, because in a season of abundance, executive leaders are typically very like, yeah, let's try this and do this fun project, etc. And then in a season of scarcity, it's especially like the marketing team just gets so micromanaged for every dollar and cent. And it's amazing to me, like when I left my full-time job and started doing my own thing, I'm thinking so much more creatively than I have in years, because my mind is not in that scarcity mindset of like, but what if it doesn't work, or will I be able to justify this ROI and da da da, which like with marketing you never really know. There's a guy, Rand Fishkin, who I really really love. Maybe we could that'd be fun to see if he could come on here one day.
Okay.
But he said this years ago at a conference I heard him speak, that a third of your marketing budget should be on things that you cannot measure. And I just love that perspective, because how in the world are you ever, and I feel like Seth would also, I don't know what he would say as far as like the number wise, but that's kind of his whole thing too, is like just experimenting. And I hope one day my company turns into something massive, and that I keep that mindset and I don't
Yeah.
stifle my team, um, because I have to justify a number, but to have a spirit of experimentation and play, um, as a part of it, because that's what that's all we can do. Because yeah, if that's the thing, I'm like, if there was an exact formula, then everybody would be millionaires. And
Yeah.
so there's no, it's just guessing until you try it. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
all right, brother. Well, I want to give a big thanks to Dale Dorman, who listened to yesterday's and commented
Dale.
our Substack about his company and how they adopted hospitality and service. So, Dale was at our church that we grew up at, and I have distinct memories of Dale at being in. I don't remember which play it was, but Daniel and I grew up at a church where we did a lot of theater and
Yeah.
plays. And I just had so much fun with Dale and those plays. He was like an uncle to us, kind of. So
Yeah, for
thanks for
sure.
listening, Dale. You're the best.
Yeah, shout out to Dale. Wow, that's I didn't see that yet. That is a blast from the past name. How fun. That's super cool.
That's awesome. All right. Well, go to sethsaidwhat.com. Love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree that theory versus reality, and when you should or should not use it? And this has been a production of the Ready Network, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, Holly.